Most men assume that when a woman is married, she's emotionally unavailable, that she would never develop feelings for another man. They think that if she's committed, she must be immune to attraction, temptation, or emotional bonding with someone outside her marriage. But that assumption is dangerously wrong. The truth: married women do form deep emotional attachments to men who aren't their husbands, sometimes without even realizing it. And when they do, they won't express it outright. Instead, they communicate their feelings through subtle signs, small but powerful clues that most men overlook. If you don't recognize these signals, you might find yourself entangled in a deep emotional connection with a married woman without even understanding how it happened. Or worse, you might misinterpret her attachment and completely miss what's right in front of you. Today, we're breaking down 5 undeniable signs that a married woman is secretly attached to you. These signs are subtle, but once you see them, they'll become impossible to ignore. Before we dive in, take a moment to think. Have you ever noticed a married woman acting differently around you? Maybe she seems more engaged in conversations with you than with others. Maybe she lingers around you just a little too long. Or maybe there's just something unspoken between you, an energy that neither of you acknowledges, but both of you feel. Let's break it all down step by step. Number 1, she finds excuses to be around you. When a married woman develops a deep emotional attachment to a man outside of her marriage, she won't come right out and admit it. Instead, she will find ways, subtle yet consistent, to be around you. Unlike a single woman who is free to express attraction, a married woman has boundaries to maintain, an image to uphold, and commitments that prevent her from acting openly. But emotional attachment doesn't just disappear because it's inconvenient. Instead, it seeps into her behavior, shaping the choices she makes in ways that are easy to overlook. Unless you know what to look for, she won't say, "I want to spend more time with you," but her actions will betray her. She suddenly starts showing up in places you visit. If you have a favorite coffee shop, gym, or social hangout, she just so happens to be there more often. At first, you might chalk it up to coincidence, but over time, you realize her presence in your daily life isn't so accidental. She lingers longer than necessary. Whether it's in conversation, at work, or in group settings, she finds subtle ways to keep interactions going. Instead of wrapping things up naturally, she stretches moments out, asking one more question, bringing up a new topic, or finding an excuse to stay near you just a little longer. She synchronizes her schedule with yours. If you work together, she might take lunch at the same time as you. If you're in a social group, she starts arriving around the same time as you or leaving when you do. Even if she doesn't realize it consciously, her emotions are driving her to align her routines with yours. She creates small, unnecessary reasons to interact with you. Maybe she forgets something near your desk and has to come back for it. Maybe she asks for help with something simple that she could easily handle herself. These small moments seem trivial on the surface, but in reality, they are her way of maintaining closeness with you. The key to spotting this behavior is frequency and consistency. 1 or 2 chance encounters mean nothing, but if she consistently finds reasons to be around you, even when it isn't necessary, it's a sign that her emotions are involved. Because when a woman is emotionally attached to a man, even if she's married, she craves his presence. Even if she knows she can't be with him in a romantic sense, she still wants to feel the connection, experience the chemistry, and stay within his orbit. And the stronger her attachment grows, the more she will bend reality to keep you in her world, whether through timing, location, or manufactured excuses to interact. If you've noticed a married woman always around you, even when she doesn't need to be, pay attention because she's doing it on purpose. Sign number 2. She remembers the smallest details about you. Most people go through daily conversations on autopilot. They ask polite questions, nod in response, and forget half the discussion within hours. But when a woman is emotionally attached to you, her mind stores every detail about you, sometimes even the ones you don't remember sharing. She doesn't have to try. It just happens. When emotions are involved, the brain automatically prioritizes information about the person she's drawn to. Even when she's not around you, she might find herself thinking about things you've said, replaying past conversations, and noticing patterns in your habits. She recalls tiny details you mentioned in passing. You could have casually mentioned a childhood memory, a favorite movie, or a random fact about yourself weeks ago, And she brings it up later, not just in a general way, but with surprising accuracy, proving she wasn't just hearing you, she was truly listening. She notices even the smallest changes about you. Maybe you changed your cologne, got a haircut, started wearing a new style of clothing, or even switched the way you wear your watch. Before you even think about it, she's already commented on it. And it's not just an observation. Her tone often carries a layer of curiosity or personal investment. She remembers your schedule and habits, even when you never explicitly told her. If she casually asks, "How was the gym?" Even though you never told her what time you work out, she's paying attention. If she knows your coffee order, where you park, or what days you typically work late, it's because she's mentally tracking you, even if she doesn't realize she's doing it. She brings up inside jokes or past conversations that even you forgot. Maybe you made an offhand joke months ago, and she references it at the perfect moment, proving she didn't just hear you, she locked that moment into memory. She connects things you say now to things you said in the past. If she recalls something you mentioned weeks ago and ties it into the current conversation, it's because she's deeply engaged when she talks to you. This level of attention is not normal casual behavior. Most people forget minor details about others because their brains don't find them important. But when a woman is emotionally attached, her brain prioritizes information about you above almost everything else. Why? Because emotional attachment activates the same neurological pathways as obsession. When she's drawn to you, her mind begins cataloging your words, remembering your preferences, and tuning in to your emotional states. It's not just interest, it's emotional investment. And here's where it gets even deeper. She doesn't just remember facts about you. She also remembers how you made her feel during specific moments. If there was a time when she laughed with you, felt a spark of excitement, or experienced an emotional connection, that moment gets imprinted in her memory. That's why she might randomly bring up a seemingly small moment from the past, because for her, it wasn't small. This is why you might feel like she understands you better than most people. It's because she's actively studying you, analyzing your reactions and noticing patterns in your behavior, sometimes more than you realize yourself. But here's the real question. If she's married, why is she this invested in you? Because emotional attachment is not a conscious choice. A woman doesn't wake up and decide to feel this way. It happens naturally. She might even try to fight it, telling herself that she should not be thinking about you so much. But her mind keeps going back to you anyway. That's why, even when she's with her husband, her mind might wander back to a moment you two shared, a conversation, a laugh, a look. And the deeper her emotional attachment grows, the more she will notice about you. So, if you find that a married woman remembers details about you that most people forget, down to the tiniest things, you're not just another person in her life. You're someone she's deeply emotionally connected to, whether she admits it or not. Sign number 3. A married woman's body language betrays her feelings. A married woman might be able to control her words, carefully choosing what she says to maintain an air of normalcy. She might convince herself that she's just being friendly, just being polite, just enjoying a casual conversation. But her body language? That's a different story. No matter how much a married woman tries to suppress her emotions, her physical reactions will betray her. When a woman feels an emotional attachment, her body reacts in ways that are completely subconscious, ways she doesn't even realize she's doing. So, if a married woman is secretly drawn to you, watch for these body language cues that reveal the truth about her feelings. She positions her body toward you every single time. Even in a group setting, her torso, legs, or feet will naturally angle in your direction. If she's across the room, she subtly aligns herself so she can see you. Even when she's engaged in a different conversation, she finds reasons to be physically close, whether it's standing just a little too close while talking, brushing against you accidentally, or choosing the seat nearest to you. A married woman will create opportunities to feel your presence. She mirrors your movements. This is one of the most powerful subconscious signs of attraction. If you shift your position, she does the same. If you touch your face, she might instinctively do it a few seconds later. Mirroring creates unspoken synchronization, making her feel emotionally in tune with you. She touches her hair, neck, or lips while talking to you. These self-soothing gestures often happen when a woman is feeling nervous excitement. A married woman who plays with her necklace, tucks her hair behind her ear, or lightly touches her lips while speaking to you isn't just fidgeting. She's feeling the tension. Her pupils dilate when she looks at you. This is a biological response that people cannot control. If a married woman's pupils widen when she's around you, it's because her body is responding to an increase in attraction and emotional stimulation. She maintains prolonged eye contact or avoids it completely. Both extremes are revealing. If she holds your gaze longer than necessary, she's trying to create intimacy. If she suddenly looks away when you lock eyes, it's because she's struggling to control her reaction. A married woman who is emotionally attached to you will struggle with physical proximity. She might lean in closer than necessary during conversations, or she might step back suddenly when she realizes she's too close. She's fighting an internal battle. On one hand, she enjoys the feeling of being near you. On the other, she's trying to remind herself that she's married, that she shouldn't feel this way, that she should pull back. This is why her body language might sometimes seem contradictory. One moment, she's standing close, laughing at your jokes, touching your arm. The next, she suddenly crosses her arms, shifts her posture, or creates distance, as if she's trying to correct herself before she gets too carried away. If you start noticing these fluctuations in her body language, it's a clear sign that she's not just having casual thoughts about you. She's feeling something much deeper, because no matter how much a married woman tells herself that she's only being friendly, that she's only making conversation, that she's not crossing any lines, her body will always tell the truth. Sign number 4. A married woman opens up to you in a way she doesn't with others. When a married woman forms a deep emotional attachment to a man outside of her marriage, she won't just treat him like everyone else. Instead, she will start breaking down her emotional walls, whether she realizes it or not. Most conversations people have are surface level. They involve casual small talk, polite exchanges, or work-related discussions. But when a married woman is emotionally drawn to you, her conversations with you will go deeper, much deeper. At first, it might seem innocent. She might start confiding in you about little things, her day, her frustrations at work, her favorite memories. But over time, you'll notice something shifting. She's no longer just talking to you. She's opening up to you. She shares personal struggles and emotions. If a married woman starts revealing things she normally wouldn't share, like her worries, insecurities, or regrets, it's because she sees you as someone she can trust. She might talk about feeling unappreciated at home, feeling disconnected from her husband, or questioning things in her life. She discusses her marriage in a way that feels different. Pay close attention to how she talks about her relationship. If she starts subtly comparing you to her husband, mentioning how she enjoys talking to you because it feels different, or hinting at dissatisfaction, it's a strong indication that her emotional attachment to you is growing. She tells you secrets she claims she's never told anyone else. If a married woman says, "I don't know why I'm telling you this," or "I've never told anyone this before," it's because she's experiencing a deep emotional connection that she likely didn't expect. She feels safe sharing her most vulnerable thoughts with you. She asks you deep, personal questions. A woman who is emotionally drawn to you won't just make small talk. She'll want to understand you on a deeper level. She might ask, "What's your biggest regret?" Or, "What's something you've never told anyone before?" These aren't casual questions. They are attempts to connect with you emotionally. She engages in what-if conversations. This is one of the most revealing signs. If a married woman starts making comments like, "If I had met you years ago, I think we would have been close," or "If things were different, who knows what could have happened," she's subtly expressing an alternate reality where you and she could have been more. Here's why this matters. Emotional intimacy is rare. Most people don't open up to just anyone. If a married woman starts sharing her deepest thoughts, fears, and personal struggles with you, it's because she feels a connection she can't ignore. She might even start seeking out your emotional support. Maybe she turns to you when she's having a bad day. Maybe she starts texting or calling you to share things she wouldn't normally discuss with anyone outside of her marriage. The most revealing part? She might not even realize she's doing it. A married woman who confides in you on a deep emotional level is already crossing an invisible boundary. She may not have cheated physically, but emotionally, she's stepping into dangerous territory. She's allowing you into a space that is usually reserved for her husband, her closest friends, or even no one at all. And the more she opens up to you, the stronger her emotional dependence on you will become. If you find that a married woman is telling you things she doesn't share with anyone else, asking you deep personal questions, and expressing emotions she keeps hidden from others, she's emotionally attached to you. And whether she admits it or not, that attachment is only going to grow stronger. Sign number 5. A married woman shows signs of jealousy even if she hides it. Jealousy is one of the biggest giveaways of hidden emotional attachment. Even if a married woman tries to act indifferent, her subconscious reactions will reveal the truth about her feelings. If she were truly just a friend, she wouldn't care who you talk to, who you spend time with, or whether other women are interested in you. But when a married woman is emotionally attached to you, she can't help but feel a sense of possessiveness, even if she has no right to. She might never admit that she feels jealous. In fact, she'll probably try to play it off as if nothing is wrong. But if you watch closely, you'll start to notice subtle yet unmistakable signs of jealousy creeping into her behavior. Here's what to look for. Her mood shifts when you mention another woman. If you bring up a female coworker, a new friend, or a woman you're interested in, pay attention to how she reacts. Does she suddenly seem less engaged in the conversation? Does she go quiet, roll her eyes, or change the subject? Even the smallest shift in energy can reveal that she doesn't like hearing about you with someone else. She becomes more competitive for your attention. When a married woman senses another woman in your orbit, she might suddenly start stepping up her game. She could become more playful, more engaging, or even more flirtatious, as if she's trying to remind you of your connection. She makes sarcastic or teasing remarks about other women. If you mention a woman you find attractive, she might respond with a passive-aggressive comment like, "Oh, I didn't know you were into that type," or, "Wow, looks like you've got options." These aren't just jokes. They're veiled expressions of jealousy. She watches your interactions with other women, sometimes from a distance. Even if she's across the room, her eyes will find you when you're talking to another woman. She might seem distracted, glance in your direction repeatedly, or even find ways to insert herself into the conversation. She suddenly starts bringing up other men in her life. A jealous married woman might try to turn the tables by casually mentioning her male coworkers, friends, or even exes, just to gauge your reaction. She wants to see if you'll show the same subtle jealousy she's feeling. She downplays or dismisses other women you're interested in. If you mention someone you're attracted to, she might brush it off with a comment like, "Oh, she's not really your type," or "I don't see you two lasting." Even if she's married, a woman who is emotionally attached doesn't want to picture you with someone else. Jealousy is a powerful indicator of emotional attachment, especially when a married woman tries to hide it but fails. She may rationalize her reactions, telling herself that she's just looking out for you or that she's just being playful. But deep down, her emotions are working against her better judgment. Because here's the hard truth. A married woman who is emotionally drawn to you doesn't want to feel possessive, but she can't help it. She knows she shouldn't care who you date, who you flirt with, or who you're attracted to. But when she hears about another woman in your life, it bothers her in ways she doesn't fully understand. She might try to push those feelings aside, but the jealousy will leak through in small ways. And over time, those moments of subtle irritation, teasing remarks, and competitive behavior will add up, revealing just how deep her emotional connection to you really is. So, if you notice a married woman reacting strangely when you mention other women, or if she suddenly becomes more engaged whenever she feels she's losing your attention, pay close attention, because jealousy is never just a coincidence. It's an emotional slip-up, one that she might not even realize she's having. And once you recognize it, you'll never miss the signs again. Final thoughts. What this means and what you should do next. Now that you recognize the 5 undeniable signs of emotional attachment in a married woman, you might be wondering, what do I do with this knowledge? Because let's be clear, this isn't just about attraction. This is about deep, hidden emotional connections that a woman might not even be aware she's forming. A married woman who is emotionally attached to you is in dangerous territory. She might tell herself that you're just a friend, that her feelings are harmless, or that she's only acting this way because she enjoys your company. But the truth, Emotional attachment is the first step toward something more. It's what makes her think about you when she's not with you. It's what makes her compare you to her husband. It's what makes her wonder what life would be like if she had met you first. Why this matters. Most men miss these signs. They assume that if a married woman is friendly, it means nothing. But attraction, especially emotional attraction, isn't always loud. Sometimes it's in the smallest, quietest moments. The way she remembers tiny details about you. The way she lingers just a little longer in conversation. The way her body language shifts when you're near. The way she gets subtly irritated when another woman enters the picture. These aren't random behaviors. They are psychological tells, the silent signals of emotional investment. And whether she acknowledges it or not, these feelings will only grow stronger if they go unchecked. What you should do next. Now that you see the signs, you have a choice. If you feel the same way about her, you need to proceed with caution. A married woman in emotional turmoil is unpredictable. She might be fighting her feelings one moment and acting on them the next. If you're not prepared for the complexity of the situation, you could find yourself in deep emotional waters before you even realize what's happening. But if you don't want to encourage her attachment, you need to set clear boundaries. Limit personal conversations. Don't become her emotional escape when she's struggling in her marriage. Avoid unnecessary physical closeness. The more she feels your presence, the harder it will be for her to detach. Don't feed into her jealousy. If she starts competing for your attention, don't reward the behavior. It will only make her attachment stronger. Keep things professional and neutral. If you notice her seeking validation from you, don't give her the emotional reinforcement she's looking for. Final truth. Emotional attachment is never an accident. A married woman doesn't just accidentally get emotionally attached to another man. It happens because something is missing, whether in her marriage, in her personal life, or in her emotional fulfillment. She's drawn to you because you fill a gap. Maybe it's excitement. Maybe it's emotional depth. Maybe it's the way you make her feel understood. But once that attachment forms, it takes on a life of its own. And if you don't recognize it, you might find yourself caught in an emotional entanglement that neither of you ever expected. Now that you know the signs, what have you noticed? Have you ever seen a married woman act this way around you? Drop a comment below and let's discuss. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to checkmark like this video to help more people recognize these signs. Subscribe to the channel for more deep insights into human attraction and psychology. Turn on notifications so you never miss a powerful new breakdown like this. Because understanding attraction isn't just about knowing what's happening, it's about knowing how to navigate it with confidence.